Hi everybody. This is your announcement for October 29th for Philosophy 101G. So I spent time this weekend grading your Module 3.2 discussions, which was your visual presentations of Darwin's theories. And that was really interesting. There were some presentations that were really creative and very interesting. And so I hope you enjoyed looking at each other's presentations as I did. One thing that came up, it was kind of interesting in discussion, was this question of, and it's one of my questions I asked you, is whether or not Darwin's theory and Aristotle's theory conflict with one another. And I've been rethinking that, and I wonder about that question. And the reason why I'm talking about this is that, and this is a common thing that happens when we think about Darwin's theory of evolution from a philosophical standpoint, because living things, survival is kind of the name of the game, right? But for us to say that that is a purpose is a little bit iffy. And it's sort of an ongoing kind of debate, I think, among probably scholars and academics. But in terms of the science community, it's really, if you look at Darwin's theory, there really isn't a purpose, even though it looks like there's a purpose to existing. Creatures, living organisms just exist. And whether or not they survive is fairly random and dependent on environment, dependent on whether the traits that get passed along help or hurt that particular creature. I think we humans have a tendency, of course, to think deeply and to think philosophically, and so we see purpose, right? I mean, we want to see purpose there, but I think that the reality is that it's not there in Darwin's theory in evolution. And I know there's some of you who are like yelling at me right now and probably want to throw tomatoes at the screen, and that's okay. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but this is kind of what's out there. So anyway, this is just more for you to think about, okay, as you contemplate these issues of existence. All right, but anyway, great job on your presentations. I enjoyed all of them. Okay, so let's move ahead to this week. We are now in Module 4, or actually we've been in Module 4. I was getting caught up on grading your stuff. So we continue with our module on justice. All right, so by now you should have watched my video lectures, and you should also have read the summary and analysis of Republic Book 1 and taken the quiz on nonviolent resistance. Now this week, if you haven't already, you should watch the film At the River I Stand, which is a really interesting documentary. I talked about it last week about the Memphis sanitation workers strike. And when you watch this film, think about these two ideas of justice that are in Plato's Republic. The idea of justice that Socrates talks about, where it is not just to harm anyone, or it is unjust to harm anyone, and Thrasymachus, who says justice is whatever belongs to the powerful. Okay, and you can read that more yourself. So apply that to this situation that was going on in Memphis, Tennessee in 1968. All right, so that's what we're doing this week. We're going to continue to think about justice, and it's kind of an interesting time to think about justice as the news unfolds with tragedies, unfortunately, of injustice, where people, synagogues are being shot and people are being killed because of their religion. So it's a very interesting, and I think we're dealing with some very sad times here in the United States, at least. So just more to think about. What we study doesn't exist in isolation. There is real world application to it. So as far as your work for this week, you have a discussion and also a journal. All right, and those are both due. Final due date is November 4th. So for your discussion, make sure you put that first post in 48 hours ahead of November 4th. And then on your journal, I ask you to be reflective, so make sure that you do some self-reflection there. That's part of it, and we'll be working towards your final project, which is your personal philosophy. All right, and I think I'll probably talk more about that in the next announcement. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you very much for all of your hard work, and that's it. I hope you have a good week. Thanks. Bye.